Hi, this is Sarah Scott, and I'm going to take you through what motivates children. So I sent out a Google form to the staff at Atonement because I was curious about um, what the teachers at Atonement think motivates students and what motivated them when they were a child. And I got some responses. I didn't get a response from everybody, but that's okay. I was happy with the participation that I did get. So the responses that I got about what motivates children is rewards and trinkets. So things like pom-poms, tickets, candy, um, things that the kids can touch and use, and they can visually see, hey, yes, this is a reward for something that I did. Another person said recognition from teachers, showing that teachers care and legitimately notice what the student is doing. Another person said that students are motivated when their teachers love them. Another said the Holy Spirit motivates you behaviorally, socially, academically. And then the last person said that they're really motivated when they get to walk down the halls and they get to see their work displayed, or their work is displayed in the classroom. And I've seen that firsthand. The kids get really excited about it. As far as what motivated them when they were a child, praise and acknowledgement, making their parents proud, their faith and knowing that they were doing things for a greater good, competition, teachers that took a special interest in you, they wanted to go an extra above and beyond so that they were pleasing those teachers. And then one person said that they were exposed to like college camps and things like that so that their future motivated them. There are some factors that contribute to learning style. It's affective factors. So it's external, and that's the way the world happens to you, or internal, you happen to the world. There's physiological factors, such as what time of day do you learn best? You learn best in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, when it's really, really, dark out, when it's light out, things like that. Things like lighting conditions, sound, temperature. So do you need to be in a really bright room? Can it be kind of dim? Do you need sound, like a TV or music, or just commotion happening? Temperature, do you learn better when it's colder, warmer? There's also cognitive factors. How do you process information? So that goes right into Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. And he teaches that students are more likely and more willing to learn if they learn in their preferred learning style. And this is, there's 8 different learning styles. There's working with people, there's a self-starter, there's word smart, there's mathematical, there's nature, there's visual, body, so you need a lot of movement, and musical. The next theory is from Richard M. Ryan and Edward L. Deasy. They say that there's a scale on which a person is motivated, and that's based on competency, on autonomy, and relatedness. The goal is to be as intrinsically motivated as possible. So you just do things on your own. You're not motivated by like candy or tickets or things that you can touch. It's just an internal thing. You enjoy it. You get satisfaction from it. You want to do it. It's not something that somebody needs to push really hard for you to do. The needs theory from Adam Maslow implies that a person cannot reach self-actualization unless all of their other needs have been met first. This is crucial for me, being a urban educator, because we're getting kids from poverty. We're getting kids with traumatic backgrounds. We're getting kids that are coming to school, and many of them may not have been in school before. When they start, so maybe they didn't do a K-3 program or a K-4 program. Maybe they are first starting in K-5 and they don't know how to school. They don't know how to act. So you need to make sure that, especially because they are coming from these backgrounds that are less than perfect, you need to make sure that they have their food covered, their water covered, their clothing covered, their shelter covered, that all of those things are met. And then they need to feel safe. and they need to feel like they belong before they're going to actually learn anything. So they need to have their basic needs met before anything above that can happen. And then there's the goal theory from Martin Ford. And this resonates with me completely. It says that the goals need to be bigger than the obstacles. So there's affective goals, cognitive goals, organization goals, self-assertive goals, integrative social, and task goals. And each of those just take a step, and there's different things that the student might want to achieve, like, oh, I want to help people, or I want to master, something. So each thing is broken down into a specific subtopic. My personal philosophy of motivation, I agree with the theorists that are previously discussed. I believe that relationships are absolutely key, and you're not going to get anywhere with a student in order to do anything. They're not going to want to learn from you. They're not going to want to do anything. There's going to be zero motivation if you do not have relationships and trust with that child. You need to take care of their needs first. So, making sure that there's food, making sure that there's clothing and warmth and a building and safety and all of those things. I believe in teaching differentially. So not constantly teaching with just verbal and not teaching with just visual, but trying to find ways to get kids up and moving, trying to get kids involved with music, trying to incorporate those multiple intelligences so that the child will want to learn and what they're learning is going to stick with them more. I believe in student-created goals, because if they create them, the goals are more meaningful versus here's some star data, this is what we want you to achieve. It needs to be things that are meaningful to the student, because if they don't care about what you're trying to do, they're not going to want to do it. I believe in an extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. So you start out with extrinsic, maybe you do give tickets and stickers and candy and things that are physically able to be touched and, right there. But then you turn it into, okay, well, you need to be part of a group and you need to do this all together. So it turns into something bigger than themselves. And that's where the intrinsic motivation starts to happen, is when they start taking that and, putting that onto themselves and knowing that they are, that they're working for a greater purpose, whether it's, as a group or they just want to do good just to do good. I believe in growth mindset and positive affirmations. You need to teach kids that if you're going to believe in the negative, then the negative is going to happen. And a lot of kids, especially in places that I've taught or where I've been, they're coming from not so positive home lives. So those positive affirmations really just tell the child, you're loved, you're wanted, you're needed, you're important, you're smart, all those things that they need to believe themselves in order to really self-motivate. A lot of schools focus on Christ Character College, but that's another big motivation. Like, you're doing things for Christ, you're doing things to be a good person, you're doing things so that you can succeed, whether it's, academically or getting a job right after high school, whatever the case may be. You need to focus on Christ, you need to focus on how good of a person you are, and then you need to focus on everything that comes after that. The biggest motivation is Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not human masters. So just, again, going back to, you're doing everything for a higher power. You're doing everything for, a greater good. It's not all about you. It's about working as yourself for God. And then just to end this, as further proof that they need the relationships, they need that trust, they need their needs met. Kids don't learn from people they don't like. So if you don't take the time to be a good educator, to trust them, to learn about them, to find out what they're interested in, it doesn't matter what kind of motivation and knowledge you have. you're not going to be able to motivate kids to do well or learn.